I am stressed. This statement is undoubtedly one of the most overused phrases in the German language. Even though it is often used as an excuse, there is usually some truth to it. Stress is a real problem nowadays, but it is a solvable one, and you don't have to become a dropout on a permaculture farm in Peru to address it. Stress. What are we actually talking about? If we trace the word stress back to its English roots and consider it free from interpretative baggage, it first and foremost means strain, pressure, tension, but also effort. When a material like metal is subjected to high stress, it is called material stress. In humans, we clearly find the aspect of strain, but also simultaneously the reaction to its effort. Now, we humans are not inanimate metal blocks. When we encounter stressful situations, something happens in our psyche, and consequently in our bodies. More on this shortly. We still need to define what is meant by stressful situation. This can be kept very open and is probably also individually different. Under stressful situation falls anything that triggers typical psychological and physical stress symptoms in a person. This can include physical attacks, sudden and strong changes in light or sound, or purely psychological burdens such as job loss, bullying, or the death of a relative. Such negative stresses lead to what is called distress, harmful stress. On the other hand, there is also eustress, which is good stress experienced by athletes before a competition, driving them to peak performance. Eustress is experienced very differently psychologically than distress. Biologically, stress is designed for fight or flight situations. Pulse, blood pressure, and blood sugar levels rise, also due to the release of adrenaline and noradrenaline. Cortisol inhibits inflammation. Digestive activity is slowed by the activation of the so-called sympathetic nervous system. A part of our nervous system, the cerebrum with its slow, conscious cognitive information processing steps back, and the brainstem takes over, allowing instinct-driven reactions. However, we are not physically attacked by a wild animal or malicious person every day. Nevertheless, many people exhibit typical stress symptoms, both psychological and physical. Apparently, life situations, except in the case of eustress, are perceived as threats. This insight plays an important role. Stress in everyday life. When we, as a time management company, talk about stress, we don't mean fight or flight situations or severe psychological stress such as post-traumatic stress disorder. In the case of traumatic life events, professional help is needed. However, typical everyday stress arises differently. Our thesis is the three most important factors for everyday stress are tasks that are too difficult, tasks in too quick succession, and unexpected tasks, or ad hoc problems. Tasks that are too difficult create a psychological feeling of being overwhelmed, which is very close to a threat. Too difficult also means not having or knowing the resources to complete the task. But even manageable tasks can turn into stress if they come in too quick succession. This also creates a subjective feeling of being overwhelmed. The time to breathe is missing, often quite literally. Tips for de-stressing everyday life. The first tip addresses the third stress factor. Proper advanced planning of tasks creates an overview and inner preparation. You see the tasks coming. Make it your goal. No ad hoc tasks. The weekly overviews in the week view timers are ideal for this. They allow you to keep track of all the tasks for a week, but also the coming weeks. Sticking to planning, of course, you can also plan your weeks so that they overflow with tasks, creating stress. Suggestion: don't overload yourself. Recognize which tasks absolutely need to be done this week. Priority A. Take care of these with priority. This frees you up for other important tasks. If there is still room, simply complete tasks from this reserve, priority BC. Imagine the stress-relieving feeling of completing a week's workload at 120%. To counteract stress, you should also consciously plan the following: rest periods, sleep, reflection, exercise, enjoyable experiences. Tragically, most people associate planning with work and effort and want nothing to do with it in their free time, only to be stressed in their free time as well. The above-mentioned elements quickly become victims of all kinds of urgencies, even if they are just Facebook or WhatsApp messages. But we need rest. During the day, for example, power naps, enough sleep, about 8 hours, reflection for mental hygiene, and exercise for our bodies. If any of these elements are missing, one can feel stressed even without recognizable stressors. We have 2 more tips. One is create rituals. Familiar things have a calming effect on the psyche. A few concrete ideas. The last tip, music. Find out what music soothes your soul. There are surely times when you can listen to it, whether on the way home from work, while vacuuming, or maybe even at work. Make the background music inspiring.